Hello everyone, welcome back to Arcade Spirits. If you want to see previous parts, I have an Arcade Spirits playlist. If you want to play the game yourself, I have links in the description. In the last part, we have decided that we're going to start up our own arcade. And right now, we are going through decisions about things we have to do. Decision number 1, funding and direction. In order for me to back your play, Hamza would require you to strike at the very heart of Dekonami's empire and open a family restaurant alongside your arcade. Take from him the very business he adores so much. We don't know the first thing about running a restaurant. Thankfully, your business partner does. I own several restaurants and would provide staffing and resources. No risk, no reward. Now, this is a risky play, but if it succeeds, the rewards shall be tremendous. Actually, that's similar to what Matt and I had in mind. Oh yes, but rather than a restaurant, well, we'd like to open a barcade. I always wanted to run a bar. I'd raise a glass to that idea. After all, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Now, it wouldn't be nearly as large scale as a family restaurant, much safer. Not quite as profitable, but still quite tidy. Honestly, I'd prefer if you'd simply ran a video arcade and nothing more. Adding on extras seems like a recipe for failure. You know how to operate a simple, small-scale arcade, so why not stick with our strengths? I'll grant it as a lower ceiling for success than the others. It's just an arcade. I won't pull on anybody for more. Low risk, low reward. But I'd like to say that would be my condition. We need to stick to the basics. So, take the big gamble on a family restaurant, or make a cozy little barcade, or just go with the classic video arcade. This decision is going to affect the entire direction of the new venture. What do I want? Well, what's my dream? I really like the idea of a barcade. It's not too risky, but it's not like not really doing much. Let's open a barcade. Who doesn't like getting their drink drank on like Donkey Kong? Let's open a barcade. Smashing! We'll take care of the bar side of things. And you can do what we do best, wrangling games. Hamza admits to disappointment but cannot defy your iron will. Not sure Moopy's a fine fit for a barcade, but barcades do bring in nostalgic adult players. Certainly some of them will rediscover Moopy and fall in love again. Okay, the second thing we need to talk about is what sort of games we want to focus on. Well, we sort of said that we'll be maybe catering to a more adult crowd. The Funplex did a little bit of everything, and we will too. We want to include all gamers. But we can also highlight one style of play or another, really provide best-in-class gaming for specific audiences. Any thoughts? Decision number 2, game focus.
Sweet!
Retro games. Retro games. It's gotta be all about retro games. You know I'm capable of keeping those older games in tip-top shape. If we focus on retro games, we could serve an audience that Deco's completely ignored.
As would I.
I would agree with Miss Fairchild. Retro games are an untapped market. I'll grant it wouldn't pull in as much profit, but we know gamers are seeking them. We don't have to make all the money, just enough to keep our pure and untainted dream afloat. And we can do that with a well-curated retro game library. I want to mix.
No way.
Retro's cool and all, but let's talk about esports games. They'll draw money better than jamming a magnet up your ass and dragging you through Roblox. Okay. Get a couple good fighters, more than one FOD, some race and dancing games, that kind of stuff, where folks can compete head to head, and we're golden. I have to agree with Queen Bee. You can play retro games on emulators and consoles, but you can't duplicate the community experience of an arcade at home. If we had an esports focus, we could build something together which works on a second home for all sorts of gamers. I think you know what I'm going to suggest. Redemption and prize games. They provide excellent profits. It's the core it's the core of Deco's business model, yes, but I think if we focus on those games, we can do them right. No predatory pricing, no scams, no ripoffs. And the truth is, most people enjoy them, from kids wanting to win that big prize to wistful adults recapturing their childhood dreams of playing skee-ball on the boardwalk.
Yes!
They're simple to play and most of all fun. If they're done right, you can make meaningful memories for everyone. And prizes. Did I mention prizes? We can stock the shelves with the coolest prizes around, better than Deco's prizes, which fall apart 2 minutes after you get them. Which matches my ideal arcade more. Well, have all three, sure, but do we emphasize retro games, esports, or prize games? Shit. I want to go with Teo, but also I'm not a fan of esports personally. Okay, if I'm going with like what I said before, with like we're going sort of with like retro games, because we are going to be a barcade and we're sort of going with that nostalgic feel, we're going to go with retro. Retro style. Let's go retro. Deco thinks the only new games make money. Let's prove him wrong, and have the world's greatest retro-style arcade ever. Woohoo! I'll pick out all the best games, don't worry. Excellent, I'm looking forward to the project. Okay, so that's money in games. Now, let's go beyond what we already had at the Funplex. Let's make this something special. Decision number 3, new projects. I want a defining feature for arcade. One which will make it stand out, something nobody else is doing, something nobody even thought of before. Any ideas on the table? If it was too outlandish for the Funplex, it's not too outlandish for me. Show me what you got. Well, I mean, I'm not really a part of this, but... Come on, you're my best friend and 100% part of this. I couldn't be here in this moment if it wasn't for you. Go on, Juniper. What's your idea? Branding. I'm freelancing now, which means I could come on board as your personal brand manager. One heck of a consulting gig. An arcade needs really stellar image management to stand out from the rest, like the event poster I made for you.
What if?
Oh, hey, Juniper. I can add to that. What if we work together? I was thinking of designing a new mascot costume anyway, but I could collaborate and coordinate with you on how it'll tie into the visuals for the rest of the arcade.
Yes!
It's a winning combination. Ashley and I can do great work together coming up with some really stellar branding and marketing. We'll stand out in a crowd. Okay. Hell, I know exactly what sort of project I'd want us to do. Streamer support. Assembling and packing away my streaming gig each day is ridiculous, and duct taping a webcam in front of a screen is a lousy hack. If I could just step up to a game and, I don't know, swipe a card or something and be streaming with a direct feed in seconds, well, I can think of a dozen streamers who just flock to our place to get a piece of that.
Yeah!
Actually, I think I know how we could do that. I could rig up a general purpose daughter board. Oh, which plays man in the middle with the video feed, works with an RFID reader to get a streamer's info. Oh my god, words. Ties into central video encoder on the Wi-Fi network. Yeah, I can make that happen, and without damaging any classic hardware. Once more in English, please. I know software, not hardware. We stick a thingy in a thingy and everything works just fine. I'm sure there's some legal and copyright issues to tackle, but if we can do it, let's be the world's first streaming arcade. I was thinking, well, if the reason why older games are considered a dead end is that they don't work in the ticket game ecosystem. in the ticket game ecosystem.
Lovely.
Why not add ticket output to normal games? We could reward skilled players with prize tickets based on their high score or speed of completion. With the right balancing, we could make old games just as desirable as new ones.
Perhaps.
As Naomi said, there may be legal hurdles to clear, but I'm in favor of this idea. It's not that I love prize games. I find them boring personally. You know, I favor pinball. But profit is the lifeblood of an arcade, and prize games are profitable. If we can get Moopy producing tickets, well, that's something nobody ever has done before. Interesting, but as much as I'd love to do all three, I doubt we have the money or time for that. Let's focus on one project to launch our arcade with. Do we want to have really good branding or streamer support or retrofit tickets on old games? Branding is usually what's important, right? I like the idea of an arcade stream, but this is like for starting out. We could do arcade streaming later. What it sounds like. Branding! Let's get the branding. Let's go. Juniper and Ashley, get to work on our branding. We need to stand out from the pack. That means strong graphic design and a great mascot. Can't think of anyone better suited than Juniper and Ashley. Also, we're gonna stick it to Dekonami saying that mascots aren't great. Yeah, you won't regret this, Antonio. I got ideas. I'll make the ultimate cosplay, my masterpiece, my Mona Lisa. Just do wait and see. One more thing. Final decision. The name. If this is going to be my baby, my dream arcade, I've got a name already in mind for it. So, bearing any objections, I'd like to welcome you all to Arcade Spirits. We're just gonna leave it to Arcade Spirits, because I haven't changed any names besides our character name. Arcade Spirits, let's go. Game title, go! Arcade Spirits, is that right? That works. Arcade Spirits. I guess it's sort of a pun since we're going to have liquor and spirits, but, you know. Arcade Spirits. I like it. We can work with that. Let's hear it for Arcade Spirits. Our home lives again. How exciting! Heck yeah! A toast done? One by one, everybody raises their glass, and I fetch my room temperature drink and raise mine high in turn. For those we've lost and those we've yet to meet. As the kindness option. Bold, let's do this right. Steady, together we can accomplish anything. We're charming. Now, let's get super drunk. Let's go with kindness for this one. For those we've lost and those we've yet to meet. For those who we've lost and those we've yet to meet. For Arcade Spirits and the future. For Arcade Spirits! Losing everything, then getting it all back, and then some. It's been a roller coaster of a week, to be sure. I can't rest now. Absolutely not. I need to take charge of this project and my life in general. I have to do this for them what Francine did for us. That's okay. I'm ready. I'm willing. And this is our time. God, I'm a mess. You have cleared level 6 of Arcade Spirits. A winner is you. Now let's see your score. You're proving to be gentle, sweet, and compassionate soul. Also, you've scored 7,600 points. Woohoo! Shops in the volcano-devastated city of Pompeii bear the characteristics of a pizzeria. That's a neat, if a bit depressing, pizza fact just for you. You want to save your game before proceeding to level 7. Save. Level 7, New Game Plus. In the distant future of 20XX, for the first time I am entirely in control of my destiny. I'm no longer merely working in an arcade. Now I'm working on my future. Which admittedly still involves working in an arcade, but still my future. I'll admit it feels weird. I'd grown so used to going with the flow, letting life batter and bruise me, that having a truant on his hand on the controls is a bit terrifying. Everyone's counting on me to keep the flame of Miss Francie's Funplex alive, so I move into the era of arcade spirits. And well, honestly, I'm super anxious about it all. I want this to be perfect. I want this to be perfect. I will make it so. Or, it's going to be fine. It has to be. Let's go with the steady hand on this one. I want this to be perfect. I will make it so. My hands are on the controls, and I intend to steer the ship true. They're relying on me to be the steady rock in the chaos of this new project, so that's what I have to be. I'll make them all proud of me, and proud to be part of Arcade Spirits. If there's one driving reason to make Arcade Spirits work, it's Teo. To give him a home away from home after the fall of the Funplex. This will be ours, and I'm not going to settle for anything less, no matter what it takes. Now all that's left is to get through opening day without incident. I arrive early that morning to go over any last-minute preparations and make sure everything is in order. Plus, Juniper was sick of watching me pace back and forth at home after breakfast. So she lovingly shoved me out of the apartment and told me to be productive. Now I stood in awe of the building, the dream I poured my heart and my soul into. I can barely believe it myself. I paused a moment to let the reality finally hit me, and then stepped into my destiny. Pushing open the doors to Arcade Spirits, I was greeted by relative peace and quiet, just the beeps and boops and people moving about doing last-minute preparations. We traveled a long and arduous road ever since the Great Waketervenspiracy. Gavin secured us a great rental space, an abandoned pizza place with that all too familiar triangular roof. And the carpet looks awesome though. Nobody else wanted it, but we didn't care about the funny shape. Quirk is in our favor. And I really couldn't have done all the renovations this place needed without the help of our financial benefactor. Ben and Matt went in with us on the cost of renovating the space, to include the bar they wanted to run. I doubt we could have done this without their backing and advice. We went with a familiar layout, if it ain't broke, and all that, to show that we've still got the spirit and the passion that made the Funplex great. But it's not all a carbon copy. We got a few new additions that Francine would even be proud of. The video wall is a nice touch. That one was my idea. It alternates between running music videos, game promos, and high score leaderboards. We also repainted and did a general update on all the appliances and fixtures to give it a more finished feel, and less of a retired pizza place turned arcade vibe. Naomi and Percy worked together to pick out games with a decidedly retro feel. Considering Deco's focus on tickety gambling-ish games, this helps us stand out from the competition. She put in a lot of hard work restoring them, and truthfully we've run into a lot of problems along the way, but watching her tirelessly work to perfect them is inspiring. Juniper and Ashley really nailed our grand experiment in unique branding. It's completely on point by spearheading our advertising campaign, The Buzz is Building. Our hype train is pulling in passengers of all sorts, and the imagery they've created will ride with them long after they've left. Definitely the right call to make. All of my decisions, all of my choices made this. Made Arcade Spirits what it is. So much labor and love went into the project from all of us, and now all that's left is to officially open these doors. But before the faithful hour begins, I still want to do one last check on operations, just in case. Stocking up a bar and an arcade at the same time proved tricky. Fortunately, Ben and Matt were more than happy to direct the team tending the bar. The bartenders, if you will.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Mr. Business Partner. Or would you prefer simply Antonio? Antonio works just fine. How's the bar? Stocked with all the fixings for any number of fancy cocktails. And a few basic drafts on tap, of course. Honestly, Matt, you need to enrich your taste buds with a mixed drink or two. Nothing wrong with a pint or two of ale, Ben.
Everything's coming up roses.
Anyway, we'll be all set for the opening. We'll be overseeing the bar for opening day. After that, we leave you in the capable hands of our bartenders. Good people, all. Sounds like a plan. Thanks for the update. Running a barcade takes a lot of work. Glad we could divide the labor between us. After my quick check-in, I noticed the clock. Its unforgiving hands telling me that it's not long now. See, everything going perfectly. No detail overlooked, just according to Keikaku. Translators knew. Keikaku means plan. I'm proud of everything we've accomplished. When these doors open and all our regulars come back to play, when new folks drawn by your advertising wander in, it'll all click. I owe myself a smile. Pleased with our progress. Today is going to be a great day. The first day of our new dream. It'll be wonderful. As long as no unforeseen problems pop up. Oh, Teo. Hey, Antonio. Hearing Teo's voice is like a breath of fresh air within the stuffiness of arcade spirits. It's an arcade. Circulation is not its forte, and if there is one person I could depend on, it's Teo. I just made the rounds to check in with Gavin, Ashley, and Naomi and see if they needed any help, and they are RTG, ready to go. That's great. I'm glad to hear everything's going swimmingly. All this stressing of opening has taken a toll on me. I feel like I can't even make a wary joke. Wiry? Wary? I forget how to say this.
I can't even make a wry joke.
Right.
That's how stressed I am.
Teos was all smiles when he first approached, but now I watched Teo's demeanor turn to uncertainty. I know now is not an ideal time, what with the doors opening in just mere minutes. But we really need to talk. Oh no. I feel my heart drop in the darkest corner of my stomach. Whenever anyone uses the words, "we need to talk," it's never ever good. Is it? With reservations, I choose my next words. Are you breaking up with me? You're actually a space elf, aren't you? Or what's up? Let's talk. What's up? Let's talk. Let's go with the basically, because I don't want to overreact. Whatever Teo wants to discuss, it's obviously important to him enough to know it can't wait until later. I'd rather not drag this out and have this feeling of dread for the rest of the day anyway. You got it. You talk and I will listen. Intently. Thank you. Teo takes a deep breath. I just got off the phone with my boss. They fired you? You and your wild imagination. They would never fire me. Okay, wait. Thinking about it, they technically could. But not in today's case. They offered me the position of regional community manager. Here I was expecting the absolute worst, and well, this sounds actually pretty decent. It's at least a step up from the absolute worst, right? That sounds like good news? It is. It's an increase in pay, I get to travel all over, and I'll be in charge of all the Showtime stage communities across the entirety of North America. I'd get to be my own boss, essentially. This all seems pretty great. An advancement in his career, great opportunities. So why does Teo still look so worried? There's got to be a catch. There's always a catch. Yep, that's all fantastic news. So what's the problem? Well, it would limit the amount of time we'd get to spend together. So like I'd only see you dancing 4 days a week instead of like the usual 7? I quip, but Teo's silence tells me it's not funny. Okay, lay it on me. How significant of a change are we talking about? Teo shifts uncomfortably, all while my anxiety continues to mount. You know I love you, right? Yes, and I you, but now I'm extremely concerned. And I really don't have time to dawdle now. I'm supposed to open the doors in just a few minutes, and I don't have time for this back and forth. As much as I want to be here to intimately discuss the nuances of Teo's new job opportunity, I'm still under extreme stress with the grand opening. This is not the ideal time to talk about this. Please, just spit it out. I'll be traveling all over and making multiple trips a month, almost every weekend. These work cautions, if you will be anywhere from These workations, if you will be anywhere from 4 to 7 days. Not ideal, to be honest. This would also mean I would have to hire a new community manager for this area, meaning someone else would be in charge of the Showtime crew here at the Arcade Spirits. But... Teo sighs, bringing his hands up into feet. I know I promised to be here every day, dance my heart out, and we get you from afar. But with this new job, I just couldn't do that. They'd need me. This news has quickly turned from good to great to now disheartening. Bleakness curled my lips into a frown, realizing exactly what Teo's words meant. I wouldn't get to see him every day anymore, and I've grown so accustomed to the way his smile lights up the whole arcade. Daily flirty escapades of him tenderly kissing me in between songs would be a thing of the past. We wouldn't be able to sprint off for a romantic dinner after a long day at work like we used to do at the Funplex. Teo, this totally isn't fair. What about your promises to support Arcade Spirits? Or, I'm not thrilled, but you gotta do you. This is me! Because we're not breaking up. We're just like, hey, those promises that I made you, like, this is a work venture. I'm like, hey, I want you to do you, because it seems like it's something you want to do. And, like, it's not like we're not gonna see each other, like, ever, and we're breaking up. So, like, right? Maybe you'll get to find out in the next part. You already know what I'm gonna pick. I'll see you. I'll see everyone in the next part. You'll find out then. It's pretty obvious what I'm gonna pick. If you don't want to miss that next part, subscribe, turn on notifications, click that bell button. And if you want to watch the Arcade Spirits Let's Play from the beginning, if you just stumbled across this one, I have a playlist. Wow, where's my head? Or if you want to play this game yourself, check out all the other people. Links in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye! And thank you to this month's patrons. If you're interested in becoming a patron, check out my Patreon, links in the description. Hopefully I'll see you there.